Welcome back to Tip of the Spear. We talk about all things Wetumpka athletics. I'm your host, Chandler Ward, and with me today is my co-host, Deacon Meeks. Kicking things off, Coach Brown with Wetumpka Track and Field had a great start to 2026 in his latest meet. Elijah Bracey placed 3rd place overall in the triple jump and 5th place overall in the long jump. Following Bracey, JD Denmark placed 6th place in the shot put, and they had a great start to 2026. Now, not only did track and field have a good start, but so did Wetumpka wrestling. 8th grade wrestler Blake Adams won First Community Bank's Player of the Week for beating the number 2 ranked wrestler in Alabama.
Yeah, and with that win, he has officially taken the 2nd ranked wrestler spot in Alabama 6A, giving himself a record of 25 wins. And for his young age, that is a huge accomplishment, and he's already making an impact on Wetumpka High School. And another wrestler I'd like to point out is actually his brother, Barrett Adams. And Barrett Adams has quadrupled his Blake Adams record, now having 100 wins only as a sophomore for Wetumpka High School. So props to them, the brother duo, making an impact early for Wetumpka High School wrestling.
And on the topic of wins and a great impact, I'd like to point out Wetumpka basketball. Not only is the boys team very dominant, but so is the girls team, with the girls being 14-4, their latest win against Percy Julian 64-45, and the boys team being 13-6, their latest win also against Percy Julian 57-52.
Yeah, and with those dominant wins over Percy Julian, the boys' score started to get a bit closer at the end, started putting some backups in the game, but the boys still held a dominant game, and hopefully the boys can continue that dominant run that we've seen basically this whole year into the playoffs and go against other 6A teams that are skillful and more competitive. So hopefully, this boys' team and this girls' team will both strive in the playoffs like they've been doing in this regular season.
Absolutely. The boys team last year made it to the Sweet 16. That's not something you see a lot for a 6A high school team. And the girls team lost first round to Pike Road. It was pretty bad for them, but this year they got their revenge and they beat Pike Road. So considering that they lost by a big margin against Pike Road in the playoffs last year and come back and beat them, that's telling you something right there. This girls team is very dominant, and 14-4, that's pretty much already telling you they're going to be very good in the playoffs.
Yeah, and adding new roles to each team. We've seen Caleb Ballard come in and be, that all-star center that Wetumpka's needed, extra height in the paint for them, getting those boards and going up there. But also his sister, Queen Ballard, I'd like to point out and mention, as well as Maya Richardson for the girls. They have been that dynamic point guard center duo for the girls that has just Maya Richardson has been able to get the ball in the paint to Queen Ballard, and it's been going well for the Lady Indians. So hopefully they can continue that in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of things you are going to need for winning games in the playoffs like that. Now, obviously, they've got a little bit. They've got till the end of January. January 30th is actually going to be their last game. So they've got a little bit to get prepared, make sure they're doing good. They've got the road ahead of them. But you're going to need some key things in these next couple of games to prepare yourself. And one of those things, and I've been saying it all the time, full court press. That's all I've got to say, Full court press is something we saw the girls start off with in the season, and they kind of just died down with it. I'm not too sure if Coach Winchester wants them just to work on something different, or if she doesn't want them to do it because she doesn't think it's working. Personally, when they use it, I think that is the best thing they can do. The girls' defense is absolutely dominant. You've got Layla Culpepper, absolutely amazing on defense. She steals the ball all the time. If you keep that full court press, the girls could blow out almost every team they play.
Yeah, and when you look at, hustle, you think of Lexi Smith, you think of Layla Culpepper, and you think of getting those steals on defense and getting those turnovers in motions. So something I liked to see from the Lady Indians was capitalizing off of the other team's miscues and getting those free, easy layups off of those steals, off of that full court press. And I seriously think if the Lady Indians go into this playoff with a mindset, hey, we got to get at it, we got to attack the ball, and we need to just maintain possession of this game, they're going to win it and blow right through it, easy as pie.
Absolutely. They have to want it bad enough, Deacon, Like in the boys game against Prattville, that's something I noticed. They didn't want it bad enough. When you play against a player like Deshaun Hall, there's not much you can do. He's a great player. But one thing I noticed is the Wetumpka Boys Indians team, they were up the whole game until fourth quarter. When fourth quarter started, that was when they couldn't do anything. And that's because they didn't want it bad enough. I talked to Coach Thomas after the game, and he agreed that they kind of just gave up. They saw that they didn't think they had that exit left, and so they just stopped playing. And that's something you can't do. You have to continue. You have to strive for it. And like Nolan Fitch led his team last year to the Sweet 16, I believe Andrew Voiles can do that for this boys team as well. Yeah,
I agree. And that's going to be an MVP prediction for me. Andrew Voiles, going into this next game, with Wetumpka, he's going to have to be electric from the three-point range like he's been all season. 42% this season and averaging 15 points a game. That's an amazing stat for your number one point guard for Wetumpka. And as well as moving the ball around, he averages about 6 assists per game, which Chris Robinson is usually the one getting those assists. But when you see Andrew Voiles, the main scorer on this team other than Caleb Ballard, it's nice to see that all the Indians are moving the ball around and able to get other people to score.
Absolutely. You've got to play a team-based game. Now, on the other side of MVP predictions, I'm going to say, like you said, Caleb Ballard. Caleb Ballard is an absolutely dominant player, new to the Wetumpka Indians team, like you stated earlier. But one thing I'd like to point out is he's averaging a double-double. Ballard has 5 blocks per game, 15 rebounds, and 16 points a game leading the Indians. Not to mention he is also ranked second overall in Alabama for blocks and rebounds. Now that is just absolutely stellar. I don't know who's ahead of him, but Caleb Ballard's coming after him, and he should be scared.
Yeah, I completely agree. And on the girls' side of the ball, I'd like to point out Logan Banks. Almost averaging a double-double now. She's averaging 11.1 rebounds a game and also 9 points per game. So almost on that edge, on that verge of a double-double. But she has missed quite a few games, so it has led to Queen Ballard being the number one girl in the paint. So if Logan Banks can come back and be consistent playing in all those games as a starter, she definitely will get that double-double stat line.
Absolutely. Logan Banks is a part of the girls' team. She is what makes their chemistry so strong. Logan Banks and Aaliyah Humphrey were a dynamic duo since 8th grade. I mean, when they play together, that team is great. So absolutely great prediction there. I think Logan Banks could also lead this team for an MVP right there. But on my side, I'm going to go with sister of Caleb Ballard, Queen Ballard. Queen Ballard is absolutely dominant in the paint. She gets 11 points per game and 15 rebounds per game. So, once again, double-double. Both brother and sister averaging a double-double, and that is insane. Both have the height, 6'5" Caleb Ballard and 6'2" Queen Ballard. If they could play on the same team, I don't think you could stop them.
Yeah, I agree. Just height is such a key factor in high school because usually most players aren't as tall as Queen Ballard and Caleb Ballard, especially at the 6A level. So to have that height advantage is a very big factor for this Wetumpka Indians team, and it's shown on the stats, on the scorecards, with averaging double-digit rebounds. That's insane. You don't see most NBA players doing that, and if you do, they're pretty dang good. So, I mean, seeing Caleb Ballard and Queen Ballard succeed like this, along with Logan Banks and Andrew Voiles, is amazing to see at this 6A level.
No, I think that's enough basketball talk for today, and I'd like to introduce special guest Kaydence Mann. Kaydence, thank you for being here. This is softball player right here, and I just want to kind of hear about last season. Considering y'all were 43-7, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we had a really solid team. It was really good. We practiced hard, and we did great. We executed great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'd also like to ask, how do y'all plan to move forward with those seniors leaving Wetumpka?
You know, it's hard when we have like big seniors leave like that. We just have to develop the younger ones. We actually just started the junior high team, which we all practice together, and it helps the coaches. They can develop from earlier age so we can have more big players.
Absolutely. Like Deacon was saying about the seniors, like Lily Monroe, I know she was a very big part about y'all's team, and I just want to know, like you said, y'all are practicing together, and you think that helps y'all strive with chemistry and whatnot. So when you move up to a bigger level like that, how do you think it affects like the other team? How do you think being moved up or moved down, sometimes players get moved down because coach doesn't think they're as good. Do you think that affects chemistry bad, or do you think maybe they just want to strive to work harder?
I think he creates a good environment where we can all strive to get better, and all the girls, we all help each other, and we have like facilities, like the new indoor facility that was just built last year helps us where we can practice outside of just practice. Like, we have a good environment to get better.
Absolutely. So y'all like to go in there and kind of hit around, get yourselves, just kind of get to know each other more.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. I'd also like to ask you, how are you doing with these older classmen? How are they teaching you, and in order to be a better softball player?
Yeah, they are super helpful. They're very kind, and they have a lot of knowledge. They've been in the program for years. Like Alyssa Brown, she's been on varsity since 9th grade. Like, we have big names, and they're very helpful, and they create a positive environment and give us standards to strive towards.
That's absolutely amazing. Now, thank you, Kaydence. I hope all of you at home thank her as well. We are very thankful that you came on to kind of let us know a little more about softball. It means a lot. But that's going to wrap up our first episode of 2026. So thank you for watching this episode of Tip of the Spear. And as always, win the moment, Wetumpka.